for working together here at ECU. And what I mean by that is, talk to me a little bit about what was going on in your career.
Sure. I was working for a Fortune 200 company. I was a department manager, promised to be a director. I was working 60 to 70 hours a week, traveling 150 days a year. And I was having some employee problems, not getting the support to make those changes. And quite frankly, was hitting burnout between all the things that were going on and was frustrated. And it played a real negative influence in my personal life, my own life.
Absolutely. It's not a lot of people don't talk about it, but I talk about it frequently, saying, hey, if you don't feel good at work, it's really hard to come home and be a good father and be a good husband, because you can't tell me dealing with all that during the day, it doesn't affect you. It absolutely does. So my next question is, at what point did you say, I might need help with my search? Were you trying it for a while, applying online, or were you just I really don't know where to start type of thing?
Sure. I took a bit of a break from work. I separated, took about 6 weeks off, which quite frankly, I had never done. I'd been working full time since I was 14. And it was quite odd. At about 3 weeks in, I'm like, wait, this is weird. And so I started playing a little bit and dusted off my LinkedIn profile. And quite frankly, I had never had to write a resume. My only resume I wrote was for my first job. And so I wrote down something and looked at it. And I hired one of the companies that was part of one of the job boards. Hey, we'll do your resume. Got it back, paid my couple $100 for it. Then I ran it through one of those resume, as it pick up things. And it didn't. It was about a 40% on that. And I'm like, I just spent $200. That's not right. Wait, I'm getting no responses on these calls and or applications I'm filling out, which are taking up a boatload of time. The system's broken. It really didn't feel like it worked. And I hadn't been in that situation before, so I didn't know what to expect, but it just felt wrong from a business perspective. And so I started doing some research, and I looked for a headhunter to what are programs that are out there. And I've been one to be sort of self-persistent and self-charged. And so I really liked what you guys presented in, here's a roadmap and a process. You got to do the work. And it made sense for me because it's my life and my career. I've been thinking about this, and I've invested in myself a number of times. One of the best things I ever invested in was LASIK surgery. I am wearing glasses right now from reading, but it was one of the best things I invested in. This is really right there. This is a great investment in myself.
Excellent. Yeah. What I tell people during the intake calls is we treat this like a fitness program, if you hire a coach, but don't go to the gym, you're not going to get in shape. And I also tell people I wish I could, but I can't go on the interview for you. I can just make sure you're prepared. So,
I could have used you on one of them, but that's okay.
I always love when we're on the group calls or individual calls and someone's like, man, I was on an interview, it didn't go well, and they said this, and I didn't know. What would you have said? I would have said this. Why didn't I say that? And I'm like, hey, hindsight's always 20/20. What did you find most valuable about working together? Valuable, because I do know we had opportunities, referrals inside of our networking, using our different stuff to build this pipeline. But some people say it was the group calls, the community, Christine, our mindset coach.
I found the most valuable part, the process, and finding the pieces, enough of the pieces of the process to stay on the roadmap and to be consistent with that, the consistency on it. And that really was the group calls. That was the individual calls. If I had to rank the most important pieces, I would say my individual calls with Diane were probably the most impactful, followed closely by Christine. I feel the ability to see the mapping on the connection part through now Asperis and LinkedIn. Quite frankly, as I've talked to people and referencing and successful business people, the power of LinkedIn and learning how to use that tool, it's mind-blowing.
You're alone. Imagine just being able to quickly search companies, search whoever you want to get a hold of in just a matter of seconds. It's really wild.
Well, part of this is I actually did a couple patents while I was working for stuff, and I'm using Sales Navigators for my side hustle on 3 projects right now.
Absolutely.
And I think I have a customer. I think I have a supplier that's going to buy one of my ideas right now.
There you go.
Which is pretty cool.
Our secret thing. So we let you know, guys, if you watch this video, ECU's marketing strategy of how we gain new business is the same marketing strategy that we try to get you on conversation. So I know it happened well for you. So I know we're looking at this new successful startup. You basically said you got to increase north of, 50 or 60K and all the bells and whistles aligned for your deal. And it looked like it happened a little over 60 days. What advice would you have if someone's watching this video right now and they're probably on the edge saying they're considering working with us?
It is a process. You have a great network of team if you like the team environment. but you have to be self-motivated. You have to push yourself. I think this is a great program from that perspective because no one's going to do it for you, but you have a lot of teamwork and team effort to help you get there. You've got some great football analogy, blockers and tacklers. You've got someone that's going to get the ball in your hands, but you've got to take that and you've got to find the way to go left or go right or go through. I think that what the ECU team provides is really good support from that. And that are the members that are there. That is the alumni that are there and the coaches that are there to help you get there. But you've got to take the time to want to put into it.
Absolutely.
I would also say that one of the biggest frustrations I hear from people is, gosh, I'm in it now, but you've only been in it for 3 weeks. It really is about 4 to 5 weeks before things really start to become clear.
We have to determine, so many people, they join and they say this, how do I negotiate my salary? And I'm like, whoa, what are you
It's the process,
targeting?
it's the roadmap.
If you don't have framework, if you don't have a plan, if you don't have a blueprint, how can you be successful at anything? To be successful, you have to be self-motivated. Like, we have the plan, but you have to come to us, right? But at the end of the day, what leader is going to be successful if they're not collaborating with other people, right? If they're not self-motivated? How can you be successful as a leader if you don't have these traits?
It's hard to weed through. And a lot of times, I think, at least for myself, I was in a position where I really wanted and needed a job. And I think if it's more in the I have to job, there's a really uncomfortable part. And I think that's actually one of the things that we talked about in our first session was learn to become uncomfortable. And uncomfortable is challenging yourself in growth. We've all been there. We've all done that, not always recognized it, especially when it's new and uncomfortable. And for me, it was talking about myself and asking for help. I got over those hurdles really quickly because I wanted to find success in what my next challenges were. The team was very gracious in those opportunities to get me over those hurdles.